my fellow browistas. Before we start, just let me know if you could see me and hear me. First thing. So let me know in the chat box that you can see and hear me, and also that little part of the presentation up there. So when you let me know that, the second thing, oh, perfect. Everybody can hear, see, perfect. Second thing is, let's do our little morning intros. If you want to put a little emoji of how your morning is or how your day is, lets me know how you're doing. So give a little shout out with your favorite emoji of how you're feeling today. We got a full house today. Good smiles, lots of, oh, cold. Who is that? Somebody had a freezing face emoji. Is it Calgary by any chance? Big smiles, pumpkin. Yes. Tomorrow is, no, not tomorrow. I'm going ahead of my week. Next week is Halloween. It's like Edmonton. Yes, Edmonton is pretty cold. You know, I was in Calgary last week. Sunny day, hot days. Everybody's wearing their shorts. And it sounds like, this is Calgary. Why did I bring boots and winter jacket? But literally, I flew out and the next day they got snow. So the Chinook, right? Okay, everybody. Everybody seems they're having a wonderful morning. Lethbridge is snowy. Yup. I saw some pictures from there and I was like, I just missed it. Awesome. I'm so glad everybody's New Jersey. There's everybody from PI. Hello, Erica. So we've got a full house today. We've got a lot of people attending today. So I know there's going to be a lot of questions. Just for some that may not have known, this is a part 2. So I am going to do a little mini refresher of part 1, just to remind us what we're going to showcase today. Okay. So we got chilly morning in SoCal. You know, surprisingly today, it's going to reach about 17. So I'm in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So I'm not going to complain. No frigid emoji for me. It feels good outside. The sun is shining bright. So I'll try to pass on that warmth to you guys. From Fort McMurray. Hello, Jackie. Hello, Tiana from Los Angeles. Los Angeles must have good weather now. Well, everybody, it is 12:05. I like to give people enough time to, you got 2 to 3 feet already. Oh, sorry to hear that, Chelsea. I don't envy you. So I like to give people some time to join into the webinar. Do you suggesting in the IF if I didn't see part 1? Yes. Please stay in this. Even if you did not see part 1, please stay in part 2. Part 1, I'm going to just show the most important slides. It's about 3-4 slides. That's going to help you get the idea of what we discussed in part 1. And don't worry, part 1 is on our website, so you don't have to worry about that. Part 2, I actually recorded the service of a brow lamination and an intense browns and then a shaping. Very good clear view, clear camera, because I know we've been having a little bit issues with the camera. So I recorded a demo. This way I'm able to show it to you in clear view, and then I'm able to talk over it and give you those tips and tricks. So we're going to get a lot out of today's webinar. Okay. So please stay, even if you haven't done part 1. Okay. So, oh, thank you, Natalie. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's actually nice to see you on here. Thank you. So as you know, a lot of you know my name already. So for anybody that's new here, my name is Chrissy. I am the lead RefectoCil trainer for North America. So hello from Barbados. I'm seeing a wonderful comments coming through. So what I do for the past several years, maybe couple of years, 7 years, we're going on 8. I've been training for RefectoCil, teaching all of you guys, all professionals, schools, everybody to love RefectoCil as much as I do. I do have a big passion when it comes to RefectoCil. So on these webinars, I hope I'm able to portray that passion, throw it on to you guys so that you can leave after these webinars loving what you learned and actually going to either purchase a product or actually enhancing or updating your services to make sure that you're doing them this effectively. So that's what I'm here for. I'm always here to troubleshoot and help all of you guys love RefectoCil. Okay. Hi, Catherine from Georgia. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this little PowerPoint. Like I said, it takes really quick, maybe like top 10 minutes, just to give you an idea. So since September, we had the part 1 where we talked about how to set up your brow bar. You know, nowadays, all of 2023, it was about the business of brows. And after the pandemic, that grew, that heightened a lot more because people actually saw the importance of taking care of their lashes and their brows because of the mask wearing, right? And we lost a good portion that actually livens us up. You know, if you pop a little lipstick, low maintenance, you look good, but with that being covered, it was really hard. So I see a lot of people coming in. So sorry if I'm missing out the shout outs. Dallas from BC, welcome. And Paul Mitchell, yes, thank you guys for coming on, Amanda. And we've got Botswana. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your support. So we see the importance of brows, and even pre-pandemic, we saw that the brows did structure our face, did give us that full look. And when we did services like brow tinting, you know, brow tinting has been popular for many years. When we just did a simple brow tinting, it put together our look, and that was low maintenance for the client. They would come in every 4 to 6 weeks to get it freshened up with the color, right? But now you're adding these new services, these new innovations like your brow lamination. Well, they're not new anymore, but you're adding all these brow laminations with your tints. So you're creating a fuller brow for somebody who does not want to do any invasive treatments like your microblading or your powdered brows, or, you know, it's money cost. Also, it's more invasive. So maybe the comfort level for a client, and also the look. You know, once it's on there, it's a little bit more permanent than a tint. So, but the business of brows with any of these services is sought out. Your clients, if you're not offering any of these brow services, even simply doing tints, you're missing out on great revenue. Like I mentioned, they're quick, they're easy. Your client can be in 10 minutes with a simple tint. But we do also have the new innovative FDA compliant tinting system, the Intense Browns. So a lot of you have seen over the past year, from last year, we've been doing a lot of these webinars on Intense Browns because it is the first FDA compliant tinting system in the US. So on that note, now professionals in the US are able to use a product that they can showcase it and not getting fined because it is FDA compliant, but it's also a hybrid tinting system. It will stain the skin but color the hair, as opposed to your oxidative tints. They only color the hair like hair dye. But now you have a system that's going to help to have 8 to 10 days skin staining. So that's what we want to talk about today. We want to actually go into the service aspect today. So let's go briefly with these slides just to show the business aspect of how easy it is. I'm going to refresh everybody's memory, how easy it is to set up a brow bar, even in your existing salon or spa. Okay, I'm going to do a quick little shout outs here. We have Valerie from Connecticut. We have from Oakland, California. And we have Bree and Mary from Bozeman, Montana. Thank you guys. And Valerie from Connecticut. Okay, so let's start out with our PowerPoint. What this PowerPoint is, I just picked some slides from the first webinar that we had done. And I just wanted to show you guys they're a little bit jumbled. I'm so sorry about that, but it's okay. I will reiterate it. Some of the words are going weirdly. I think when I uploaded it as a PDF, I am so sorry. Okay, so no worries. You see in the image right there how easy it is to set up a brow bar. You need limited space and not so much furniture. You just need to have a chair that's comfortable, a microblading chair type of chair that kind of reclines a little bit back, because beds take up so much space. If you are in a salon industry, you can take one of your stations. So in a salon, you probably have several, depending on your size of the salon. You can take one of those stations either towards the end or towards the beginning that is strictly assigned for lash and brow styling, right? So that's how you can do it in your salon. If you're renting out a boutique that's really small space, you have to set up with having your nice comfortable chair because the beds will take up space, a nice mirror with a station. And these mirrors, these type of structured mirrors are also rotatable, meaning you can move them around because they are on wheels as well. You need an illuminating mirror so your client, is engaging with you when they're looking in the mirror for their services. Because with the brows, when you're tinting them, when you're doing some kind of change, it's nice to get your client to be involved as well. That's why these brow services are very, very easy to be doing within a salon industry. Okay. Hello, everybody. Okay, so why you should offer brow services? Why? Well, we said they're easy to learn. So for you to be able to take a course or look at our Instagram as a professional or look at our website, these are very easy services to learn and execute. Okay, as we mentioned, they require very small investment, but you also have great ROI. So your return on investment will be high with even using minimal space. Okay. And you're also guaranteed that extra revenue and you can maintain that customer loyalty. So for example, your client comes in to get their hair colored and you're like, wow, well, we're freshening up your hair. We're giving you this new look. Let's match the brows. Let's freshen up the brows too. So that's a extra revenue. You added it on and you charge them for that as well. If you're working in the spa industry and you are doing the nails, they come in for a manicure and they talk about their brows, they talk about, I'm hearing about brow lamination, what do you think? Easy. Tell them, hey, while your nails are drying, if it's not shellac or if it's not anything that needs drying time, let's pop on some color to your brows. Okay, sorry, but I'm not receiving sound from your video. Brenda, check your volume, see if it's on mute, on low, or exit. Oh, she can't hear me, I'm so sorry. Brenda, just give me 1 second to let her know. Brenda, please check your volume or settings or exit and come back. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now you see that little section right there. Then what it is, when we're reiterating again, what do you need for furniture-wise? Well, as I mentioned, a microblading chair or a director's chair. We use a lot of the director's chairs at trade shows because we have limited space, but it could get a little bit uncomfortable unless you're only just doing brow services. It's okay, but as soon as you delve into lash services, it might be a little bit longer that they have to sit in the chair. So a director's chair, if it's not a comfy one, it may become a little bit inconvenience to your client, okay? Because you still want to be able to give them a little spa treatment. Then you need to have an upright station or table with drawers so you can store your stuff you don't want to clutter your whole little counter there. A mirror with illumination, and shelving is optional. If you're working within a spa or salon already and you assigned a little station for the lash and brow services, they have their retail section. If you want to pop one shelf just to show your top brow and lash retail products, great. Okay. I hope it works for you, Brenda, if you can hear me. Okay. So very, very, very simple. Then when it comes to supplies, once again, you are not spending a lot. Plus good old Amazon stocks, your spoolies, your dental sticks, your disposable orange wood sticks or your disposable lip brush, anything. It comes in a good pack that you're not spending a lot per client for these extra supplies. So if you're going to be offering brow tinting, brow lamination, brow bleaching and custom coloring, makeup with brow liners, or other services like microblading, your supplies will become such as these, okay? Cotton rounds, Q-tips, paper towel, disposable lip brushes, mascara wands, orange wood sticks, extra accessories that you might need like brushes, bowls, eye care pads to give them a nice treatment. Okay, so this is very simple stuff that don't cost you a lot and they can come in bulk. When it comes to products, especially if you're using RefectoCil, you would have to purchase the following: the brow tinting kit or the brow bar. The brow bar, if you haven't seen it, it is really beautiful, really, really well made, that if you're working in a salon type of environment, you have to bring it from station to station or from room to room. It's a caddy and it comes with you, and it's fully stacked with everything you need for lash and brow tinting when it comes to the oxidative. But if you're also in the US and you need to showcase the FDA compliance and tinting system, you have this nice little box with all the components in it. Okay, so check out those items. Go on our website, check out our products. We have a product section that's what's the word called? That is categorized by kits, accessories, and so forth, so that you can see the range of RefectoCil and how it could help you. Okay, so these are all the items. That's it. That's it that we talked about. We went a little bit in detail. We talked about profitability, but all those papers, all those files, you can get them from our website. But this is mostly what we talked about in part one. So that's why we wanted you to stay. Now for part two, what we want to do is actually talk about the services. Okay. I see some more shout outs. Hello, everyone. Now we want to talk about the services. So the first one is the brow lamination. Anybody, if you want to, hi, Samantha from Lux. If anybody wants to write in the chat box, it's up to you. Who is actually new to RefectoCil, like new? Let me know in the chat box. You can say me, new, whatever you feel like, just to see. Okay, yep, we're getting several people that are new. Okay. Well, this is perfect for you too, because you may be even new at these services to begin with. So now you're able to see that how easy it is to start offering these, and you generate income right away. Okay. So there's a lot of you guys that are new. Okay. Hey, Chanel. Our Quran Lab trainers in here, which is awesome. So my other question would be new to the brow lamination kit, but have used a lash lift and tint. Perfect. If you've used a lash lift from RefectoCil, it is the same product for your brows. So you're ready. You're set. Okay. Relatively new. So a great little refresher, right? Raylene, I think I remember your name. A great little refresher. Have used for 20 years and it's still the best. Thank you, Annie. Thank you for that. So there's a lot of new people, or there's a lot of people who need to be just a little bit refreshed, and maybe to see that RefectoCil has expanded in their services, right? I haven't used the eyelash lift yet. Well, no worries, because we're going to be showing in November the lash lift service, so you can always register for that webinar and get prepared for the holiday. It's going to we're going to have it in November so that you're all prepared for December to start offering all these lash and brow services to your clients, because this is a time that you're going to have promos going on and your clients are going to be coming in for their lash and brow styling. So perfect timing. Okay, so how about people who have not even started brow lamination yet? So how many of you in here, or just once again, put up your hand, anything, me, say whatever you feel, who has not used brow lamination as of yet and is thinking about bringing it on? Okay. Several new ones. Yeah. Okay. Not started. We haven't. Okay. Had a lamination yet. Perfect. Me. Do I still need? Oh, now it's going so fast. I saw somebody's question. RefectoCil 1979, and you see, from 1979 we have expanded. Yes, a great bit of a lot. I don't even think in 1979 we even had any type of perming system. So yeah, do I still need brow lamination certification when I already have the lash lift and tinting? Nope. If you are in the professional industry and you already have your diploma, or you already have your license and so forth, and you're able to be doing services on lashes and brows, you are okay. A lot of people like to do the certification classes because it helps with your insurance. It also gives credential to your client to know that you did the best training with the brand that you're using to be able to effectively use it and give them the results and keep them safe and with any of the chemicals. So it's optional if you want to do that certification. Okay. So a lot of people wrote comments. So sorry if I missed it. I tried on myself and a few clients, loving the results. Perfect. Thank you. I use another brand, but have never used this brand for lifts or lamination. Perfect. So you know what? This can be something new for you that you might want to try out, depending on the education, depending on the support that we give you. You might want to give it a try and see how it might help you. Okay. So let's go first a little bit briefly about the brow lamination as to why you would want to do it, as we look at the statement right there, because I do a lot of trainings and I do a lot of trade shows. And when I talk to people at the trade shows, I ask them, how many of you put your, like I might have a classroom of 150 people filled. And I ask, how many of you guys do brow lamination? Literally, I might get 3 people. And I step back, I'm like, whoa, you're missing on great revenue. You're missing on generating that income with such quick, easy services and customer satisfaction because they're coming back every 6 weeks to redo it. So I ask why, and they tell me it's because they don't feel their clients would like that look. So right away in my head, I'm like, okay, I get this. It's because all social media, we do tend to go to social media to guide us as well, but all through social media, it's been that one look, that one very expressive look of brow lamination. Not all your clients are going to want that look. Your mature clientele for sure might not want that unless they have very, 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 very thin brows and you need to relax them to add volume. Right? There we go. Thank you, Maureen. So we do get a lot of people who say that they step back from it because they feel their clients won't like it because of what they see on people's befores and afters or social media. So don't let that affect you because you're stunting your growth or you're stunting your revenue and so forth. We teach, there are 3 different looks. And I don't have the images here, but when you go on the website, you can download the brochure and you can show those looks to your clients. So yes, there's those more extravagant looks, but there is also the one called fluffy feathery, which is a very soft and natural look for those clients. Because sure enough, all my clients that come to me too, or my first time clients, they say the same thing. Oh, I don't really want that, crazy wild, lift look, but I do want my brows to look fuller. So right away I know, yep, fluffy feathery is for you. Okay, so not the soapy brow or not the laminated brow. So that's going to guide you as well. Okay, and maybe give you that ease right now of, oh, okay, let me now fully, solidly look into RefectoCil brow lamination because now I understand that it's not just one look. Okay, so in that little statement there, it talks about that how everybody would love it, but not everybody has, like for example, myself, as I get older, my brows do get thinner. My face frame needs thicker brows. So brow lamination is my best friend. Okay, so I'm able to create volume. You can create stability. Think of male clientele. Their brows are kinked. And I always joke around, poor guy, but I always joke around about Jack Nicholson, how his brows are so aggressive looking and they make him look aggressive. And he's played some really good like villain roles or like bad man roles, but that's what made him famous. But if you had a significant other, you don't want to see them with that wild look. So imagine having the brow lamination service for men as well, where you can relax those kinks. You don't really have to give them a full brow lamination, right? But you can relax softly and set it softly. So bring in your male clientele. They're the best as well. Okay. So we talked about that. Let's see some befores and afters just to kind of, the before and after was right here. Sorry. The before and after on the left side, you see her brow. It was there. You can see it, but you can see some little gaps on the side right there. You see from her tail end, she had some gaps. Well, hello, Kieran. So when you see those little gaps, when your hair gets relaxed, the hair gets longer and it actually covers those little minor gaps. So as you can see with her other brow, as she did a brow lamination and a tint, it put together that look. Her brows and her hair are complete. So when I look at her, I see the total picture and frame, not just frame because her hair is so fresh, the color, but her brow is very light. Now I see it all together, put together. Okay. So that's what we're trying to do for our clients. Now, when it comes to the intense browns, anybody new in knowing about the intense browns? As I mentioned before, the intense browns is a staining system. It's hybrid, so it actually stains the skin and colors the hair. Oh, lots of new ones. Well, this is going to be really exciting for you guys. If you have client, also mature client, myself as well, I'm losing the brow hair, so I need that staining effect. The oxidative tints are not going to give me that staining effect. They're meant just to grasp into the hair, to deposit into the hair, close up just like your hair dye. But the intense browns, you're now able to remodel or redesign give someone a brow. Maybe they don't have the money to invest in microblading or any of those more invasive treatments or more permanent treatments, right? If they're not able to do that, what's the alternative that you can give to your client? So we have a good question from Brianna. It says, how long does it last on the skin? Well, unlike henna, which lasts about 2 to 3 days, the RefectoCil hybrid, like the intense browns, they last between 8 to 10 days on the skin. Give your client the proper protocols. We are going to be uploading onto the website a sheet of 4 postcards of aftercare. You can download that, take it to your Staples, print them nicely, and give those as your aftercare, because it mentions what they have to do. In order for them to be able to sustain that skin staining, they got to do their part to avoid humidity with water, to avoid scrubbing their brows, clearing up the sweat. With my clients, what I tell them is, if you're very oily, the tint will not stay as long. So I tell them, purchase, or maybe even I will brand some with my logo, little brow, oh my gosh, blotting sheets, the blotting sheets. And every time they feel the sweat coming on, the oil coming on, you dab, 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 dab. And that way your color can last. Like, imagine having your brow staining for a whole week that you don't have to fill in your brows. So it's the aftercare that's going to play a big role. On the hairs, 4 to 6 weeks, just like the oxidative tinting. But once again, the intense browns coats outside. It does never penetrates inside the hair shaft, which means it will get fairer and lighter much faster than the oxidative tints, depending on your client's lifestyle. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. I just want to see, there were some questions. Are there softer brown hybrid colors? Okay. So I know this is going to be about the light colors. Yes. Okay. So I know this is going to be a very popular question. So our lightest color is the ash brown, as you can see by the model right here. Okay. She has the lighter hair, lighter complexion, and they did the ash brown. The chocolate brown is a similar shade, just a little bit darker, not too much, because it's more warmth. It has warmth in it. So yes, the ash brown can be a little bit darker if your client had much more blonder hair. Okay. So because of that, there's techniques that you can do. Instead of doing a full brow staining, see her brows, these models is from the beginning to the end stained. That can look a little aggressive for some people, or very dark. So this is where you would do an ombre brow. And you're going to see it in the video that I'm going to show you in just a couple of minutes, that you can soften the look for those clients. There's also a technique that I do with our spoolie. So when you purchase intense browns, when you purchase the kit, you have the silicone spoolies. And for those of you who have heard me on webinars, they become your best friend. That silicone material, the spoolie. It helps you to evenly, smoothly distribute the product, because it is a 3-step system. We're going to see in the video. With this spoolie, you're able to keep softening it during that 1 minute of the final step that actually stains it, like actually brings the color out. You're able to soften it by brushing it all the time to make a more powdery effect. So I did do a little Instagram post about that, because I do get clients that are mature and very blonde and fair skin, and it can become a little too aggressive, the look. So I add those tips, the ombre and brushing it out with the silicone spoolie until it dries out. Okay. Is graphite included in that product? Nope, because the colors are cool tone. The only one that's more warm tone is the red, but the chocolate brown. But all the colors from the intense browns are cool. The ash brown is like your graphite. On some clients, it can look a little bit, depending on their coolness degree, it can look a little bit more grayish. So you have that aspect. Okay. And then we have your deep brown. As you get to a more stronger hair color, like darker hair color, but also soft facial features, you can do the deep brown. As soon as you get to the face structure that you want to give some structure, like you want to give some sharpness, you can go to the black brown. And then the black brown also gets used, excuse me, for your lashes. Okay, so if you have a client that's allergic to the oxidative tinting on their eyes, when you tint, you can do the black brown. On that note, a little update. when we were in Austria with the RefectoCil partnership meeting, they do want to work on having a lighter, obviously lighter than graphite, so that it can help for those clients. Maybe even avoid doing all these extra steps. You have a lighter color, right? And then they're going to work on having a true black, not a black brown, but a true black for lashes, because everybody wants their lashes to be dark. Right? That's the reason why getting them tinted. So those two products they're working on them. Just be mindful of that. When you create a plant-based product with coloring and staining, it takes a lot more for chemists to work with. So that's why it was only 4 colors, because it took a while. And for the company to work with the FDA to make it FDA compliant, it literally took about 7 years. Now, I'm not saying the colors are going to take that long, because now the product is FDA compliant, but the finding the formulation with the different plants and putting it together takes some time. So we're hoping soon we'll have that support for you guys with a lighter brown and a true black. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up this slide, because I'm going to explain to you. So, follow us, tag us, show us your work. I love to feature all of your guys' works. It helps us to keep this community of RefectoCil lash and brow styling together, and we learn from each other. So follow those 2 accounts, and we also love to share your work. If you have any questions at the Education at CBN group, you can leave an email, but I also love to troubleshoot on my Instagram account, which is the Browista by RefectoCil. I do troubleshoot a lot on there, and I do send you guys voice notes. Nobody as of yet has said that I annoy them with voice notes. They actually told me they love it because they have the direction in a voice note to listen. Okay. And then the RefectoCil education is going to be your buddy system. What did Chrissy say? What was it the product talked about? It's all on our website, and all the files you need to download, whether it comes to profitability, whether it comes to the protocols, consent forms, everything is on that website for you guys. The only thing is you have to purchase from your local beauty supplier, and that is on our website too. If you need to know where, we have a section. Okay. We have a CBN Academy. So if you want to become certified in brow lamination and intense browns, they have a low fee. No product is included. That's why the fees of these theory certification are low, so that you can start offering it as soon as you can and have that certification. Okay. Also, you do get a CEU credit for your continuing education. Now, what I have to do now is I have to share the screen to show the video. Once I share the screen, I will not be able to see your comments. Please hold your comments unless you want to say something right now. You will not have to hold your peace forever. Like, you can say your comments after I'm done the video. But if there's any question you really want to ask right now before I start the video, please let me know. Otherwise, I will not see the questions until the end, and I'm going to have to start scrolling. So pause on your questions, hold them, and after like 5 minutes of the video or so forth, we'll come back and you'll get to ask all those questions. Great. Okay. So let's get into the video. What I'll do is I will hit the sharing, and you're going to have to let me know quickly onto the chat box that you guys can see the video. Okay. So let me share it. Just give me a second. There we go. Okay. Took me a little moment to get it. So please just write on the chat box if you can see. There's a woman. I haven't hit play yet, but you'll see a woman. I'm going to have to condense it just to see. Perfect. Okay, so everybody can see. Is the size okay too? Well, I just condensed it a little bit, but the size that I have it like this size, is it good? Yeah. Awesome. Okay, this is working out really great. Okay, so let's start the video. Size is great. Perfect. Actually, I can see your questions. I think I figured out how to multi do it. Okay. You learn all the time when it comes to technology. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the play. There'll be some moments where I'm going to pause because I want to give some extra tips, but this is so much better when I show a video because I'm able to give those tips without having to rush. Okay. So let's get started. Remember, the video is on brow lamination and intense browns on the same model. Now, what you'll notice on the model is that she has full, beautiful brows. But remember, these services can be done on somebody who has full, beautiful brows, but I made them look very soft too because she has big, beautiful brows. She has darker skin. I do not want to make it too aggressive. So you'll see that with the proper expertise and the practice, you can make it look natural. Okay. So let's start that. Okay. So as we know, prep is super important. You need to prep with your micellar eye makeup remover and then your saline. So right now I'm going to pause because our RefectoCil micellar eye makeup remover, it is non-oily and it has hair strengthening benefits. So for example, if you were to bleach somebody's brow, you clean it with the makeup remover, it's actually putting back nutrients, like it's actually conditioning the hair. So you're removing the makeup, but you're also strengthening the lashes and the brows. It's non-oily as well, and it's micellar, so it lifts off waterproof makeup. So if your client came in with any makeup and it was waterproof, then micellar will help that. A lot of people tell me, Chrissy, I have some makeup I use from here for this or that. I say, just make sure that it is non-oily. But the other hand, RefectoCil tested their makeup remover from A to Z, right? From the beginning of the service to the end of the service with their product, so that the results are, the integrity is there. So once you start mixing other brands, other companies, we can't guarantee that the integrity of the look of the service will be there. It's not that we just want you to buy our product. It's just that that's how it was tested. So always test it out yourself. I can't tell you no. You can test it to see it's okay, but your makeup remover has to be non-oily. The saline solution is degreasing everything. It also makes sure that you didn't miss anything. It also makes sure that there's no oil still there, that the client might be producing a little bit more. So the saline solution becomes your second security for cleanse. If you're going to purchase, do not purchase contact lens solutions. A lot of people go and they buy contact lens solution. And then I had to do a little bit of research because I'm like, okay, if you can use contact solutions, sure, why not? But you do pay a lot of money for the contact lens solution. But it has surfactants in it. Surfactants are like oils. So they will prevent your results. And I had a lot of people, I said to them, buy it. If you want to try it. But I do not suggest it because it has surfactants. And they've done it and they come back and they say, Chrissy, it didn't work. I say, okay, buy the RefectoCil micellar and saline and work with that combos. And it worked for them, the results. So like I said, it's there, that's been tested. Okay. So after you degrease it, now, if you are going to do only an intense brown service, you do not use the saline solution. The particles of salt particles and the silver nitrate ingredient in the activator of the intense browns do not like to party together. So they will butt heads, fight, argue, whatever, and your results will be very patchy. So when you're doing just an intense browns by itself, avoid it. I find when I do the brow lamination and I use the intense browns, by the time I'm done, I use the saline. By the time I'm done the process of the brow lamination, it's okay. It's all gone, the saline solution, so it doesn't bother with my intense browns. But when I finish my brow lamination and then I got to go into my intense browns, in between, I want to wipe the brows, just make sure there's no solution. You can use your micellar eye makeup remover. Okay. So we're good with prep. You would never have thought there's so much to say about the prep. So that's your prep. And then we're going to dry. Very, very important that we found that when you dry the area and the hair, you will have better results, better lifts. What are these? I'm going to pause. What are these beautiful pads, you might ask? If you haven't tried them yet, please do. They have amazing ingredients. Like they have the hyaluron, the aloe vera, the vitamin E. They help with depuffing and they help with fine lines. When you take it off, your skin has this shine, this immaculate shine. They're so well made. They are a little pricey, but why do you think I put them here? Because you're like, she's not tinting lashes, so why does she have them here? Well, we are learning, we're teaching professionals how to add value, how to elevate your lash and brow services by giving your customer a nice eye treatment. So your clients do come to, even though they're getting lash services or brow services, they still love that spa treatment. So give it to them. On your menu, you can have an express service and you can have a deluxe service. And your deluxe service pricing, it can include these pads. It can include at the end the massage that we're going to talk about, right? So don't think that the eye care pads are just when you're doing lash lifts or lash tinting. Okay. When would you use a silicone 2-piece pads? How are they different? Are you talking about the black silicone pads, Jacqueline? Okay, so those ones you use them for tinting, and you can also put them on top of your bottom lashes to hold them down because the silicone sticks to the skin. But there's no treatment on them. They're reusable. You can clean and disinfect. If you're in Canada, preempt RTU. If you're in the US, prevention RTU. But for this aspect, you wouldn't be able to give them a treatment. So you don't really need them for brow lamination. So that's why these eye care pads to play a great role. We usually say to add about $5 to $8 to the service fee. But if you create a deluxe menu, put that pricing in there to reflect that they're getting these treatments and a massage at the end. Okay. So once you've placed those on, you're going to start with step number 1. As you can see, I don't know, in the video there, the little tube popping on the side. It is your lash perm story solution. You see how the coloring has like a more like pinkish coloring? We have you're welcome, Jacqueline. You're welcome. We have 2 sets of tubes. We have the tubes that have the white with the red square that says 8 and 5 minutes. But then we also have these new ones right here that have that pinkish writing. If you have that pinkish writing, it's 6 and 4. They made the formulation a little bit faster, so you have that 6 and 4 minute timing. But it does not mean that that 6 and 4 timing is for everybody's brows. For example, like Jennifer here, my model, I would have to do the 8 and 5 because she has more fuller brows, right? But how do you monitor to know what timing? Well, if you're unsure, we have 3 sets of timings. We have 6 and 4 for the lashes and brows that are very, thin, less brows, thinner brows. And then you have the 8 and 5 for the brows that become a little bit more medium type of brows. So they're getting a little bit thicker, but they're still workable and manageable. Then you have the 10 and 7 minutes, which is for the brows that are very unruly, very, layered, thick, the density. You got to leave it longer to get through there. So now you have these 3 timings, but be mindful. You can't go back past 10 and 7. Okay. Be mindful that during these time, like what you choose, the timing is appropriate for your clients' hair type, like thick, thin, and so forth. Okay. Now, if you were to say to choose 6 and 4, and you're like, well, I'm not quite sure. I don't know. It's the first time I'm doing this client's brows. I don't know how they're going to relax. I don't know how the solution is going to take, because some people's brows can look like they're going to relax. Okay. But when you look at the arch area here, the brows tend to go downwards. So they need a little bit more solution time. So what we teach, let me hit the play so that can be rolling. I just stir a little bit of the lash perm solution. I apply it on nice and thick. Okay. So imagine that right now you didn't know what the timing was. Now, what I also do is I clean with the Q-tip, because now solution is resting on the skin. We do not want it to be resting on the skin. When you do a lash lift, it rests on the silicone pads. So right now, you want it to just be setting onto the hair. So if it touches the skin, wipe it off. This is a way to keep the skin less red, less irritated. And when you wax afterwards, you have a happy client with no redness. Okay. Now, the plastic film. The plastic film is optional. The only reason I use it on her was to show people in this educational video. But Austria, like GW, the manufacturer of RefectoCil, they like to omit the plastic film. Like, try not to use it unless you really have to. Sometimes I have to use it on a male clientele just for the step number 1 for the lash perm, so I can help better break down the bonds of those kinks of the hair. But how you monitor the brow to see if it's taking and if the solution time is right is you get those little dental sticks, and halfway through the timing, so if you're doing it 6 minutes, at 3 minutes, brush through to see if it's relaxing. If there's areas like the arch area, you're going to notice that on a lot of your clients, the arch area, if it's still not relaxing, but the rest did, you can potentially, like the 6 minutes was up, you can remove those parts and then leave the other section on for that extra 2 minutes to make it 8 and 5. So when I say 8 and 5, it's 8 minutes for the lash perm, 5 minutes for the neutralizer. 6 and 4, 6 minutes for the lash perm, 4 minutes for the neutralizer. Okay. When you do that, you can avoid using the plastic film on the majority of your clients. Okay. We've got a question from Jana. For some reason, my connection isn't working great and I'm missing a lot of this. Yes, you'll be able to have the recording on our website. Either we'll get it up there today or tomorrow on the website as part 2, and you'll be able to watch this. No worries, Jana. Sorry you're having some trouble. Okay, so let's put this on. So right here, we're showing it for educational purposes. If you need to check. So as I mentioned here, after 3 minutes, you see how when I'm using the dental stick, her brows are actually relaxing where I want them to go. You're welcome, Jenna. Without any extra pressure, the hairs go where I want them to go. So now I'm just applying a little bit of the solution back on in the areas at the arch and the tail end that were a little bit hard. Like they didn't relax as well. And as the timing is up, I start to, I did 6 minutes. So as the timing is relaxing, as the timing is up, I'm checking one more time. Do I have to go 8 and 5? I don't. Look at the brows are going exactly where I want them. And they are being, they're not being rebellious. They're being obedient. Okay. So, after we do that, after we've checked it, now, for example, say you checked it at the end when the 6 minutes timing was up and still there was areas, grab a little bit more solution, put it back in that area, and then let it continue. Now, one thing we didn't mention on here is if you're using a plastic film, you should condense the timings because then you're over processing. So, because the plastic film, and sometimes when you use the kitchen film, it's thicker, the kitchen film. You know, it's covering your dishes with your fruits, your meats, whatever. It's much thicker. So that's going to create a lot more heat and it's going to make the product penetrate a lot more faster. And I'll tell you, it's the biggest mistake that professionals do is that they get very plastic film happy and they overdo it. And that's when brows start to dry. First of all, it could be because the product or the brand was not great. The solutions, they didn't have great ingredients in them that actually condition and help the protein structure of the hair. That's the first thing. Second is the plastic film has been the culprit of like breaking off brows because they left it on their full timing or extra more timing with the film on. So if you're going to use a plastic film, deduct it like for the 6 and 4 minutes, deduct it by a minute each step. If it's 8 and 5, deduct it by 2 minutes. If it's the 10 and 7, deducted by 3 minutes. Okay. And be mindful and monitor. Okay. So after we removed it, we took we removed the lash perm solution with a dry cotton pad. Please do not put any water. Now what I'm doing is I'm brushing the hairs through, separating them because that's what the relaxing does. It helps you to separate each of the individual of the hair and look how much fuller and fluffier her brow looks. Now I'm drying them before I put the next step because if I did not dry them and she has dense brows, they would not accept the neutralizer. See how I'm shaping it nicely? So you see how I said, let me pause this too. See how I said you don't really need to give your client that very spruced up look. For her, she's young, but for her, she has full brows. Why do I need to make them more surprise look? Why do I need to make them more bigger? It doesn't suit her look. So as I take my spoolie, I round the ends off. You can trim, but another thing I see too is that people trim excessively from the beginning to the tail end, and it's these short, stubby hairs that are laminated. If it's the look your client wants, sure, do it. But the majority of the client will not want that. The people I've seen it on are like under 25. Okay. Where can I buy that mini dryer? That mini dryer, unfortunately, was gifted to me. So from Austria, but you can purchase them on Amazon for like 12, 13 bucks. Some of them even have stands, which are really nice. Okay. They're lash fans. Lash extensionists use them. Okay. So now I'm putting the neutralizer. Make sure you brush the hair in the area that you want it to be, your client wants to look. And then you put the neutralizer and you try to respect it that way so that you can just set it. The neutralizer now is just setting that into place. You can see I was pretty generous with the solution. Yes, she also has thicker brows. So that's why when we say you can do up to 15 services per 2 tubes, that varies on your client's brow density as well. Okay. So because we did the 6 minutes, it's 4 minutes. Now, I do not like to keep rubbing. You will see, brushing. You will see on social media that a lot of people, they take the spoolie and they brush through it as well during the neutralizer. You can do it maybe once and that's it, but I like to do it towards the end because this is the time now that the hair is trying to set into place. If you brush it nice to begin from the beginning and you set the neutralizer, you don't need to keep touching it because then you're disrupting its setting solution. But if your hair's kind of shifted and you want to brush them back into place, you can, but just make sure you're not removing too much of that neutralizer out. So that's why I do not brush them during the neutralizer. Do you need a dryer or can brows air dry? If you're going to air dry the brows, it literally takes like 4 minutes, depending on the density of the brows. When you see the instructions for intense brows, they say 4 minutes of drying time in between. But if you have a lash fan, it's 40 to 60 seconds. Okay. So it's up to you. You can save a lot of timing and put it somewhere else. Put it towards a massage. Put it towards retailing to your client instead of having them sit there during the drying times. But that's totally up to you. Okay. So I'm going to remove it with a dry Q-tip. So see at the end, now I'm brushing it and just brushing it towards the area that I want it, rounding it off towards the side because her brows are a little bit, thicker. And I clean it with a dry Q-tip, dry cotton round, dry, never water. Once again, you can fan it as well, but after you wipe it with your micellar and makeup remover. Remember, don't use a saline because it's not good for the intense browns. Okay. I'm just shaping them nicely because now I'm going to do the brow mapping for the intense browns. But you see how nice her brows looked? I didn't make them look so extravagant. Okay. Now we're going to start with the intense browns. Brow mapping is super, 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 super important. No need to glue the brows. Nope. RefectoCil is all about making the services quick and easy with less products to use. So no glue. And that's why they don't often teach with the plastic film either. Okay. Better for you as a professional, less product, less damage, less, your solution can be faster. Okay. So you see how I'm brow mapping? You're very welcome. You see how I'm brow mapping the 3 points? Very quick and easy. And I am actually connecting it very flush to her brow. If I went higher, I'm going to make so much more skin staining and her brow is going to look thick and aggressive. She already has a beautiful thick brow. So I'm just sticking it very flush close to the hair without getting it on top of the hair, right? And that way I'm still able to give her a very natural look. Okay. So when you do those 3 points, from the beginning, the bridge of the nose straight up, from the corner of the pupil to the corner of the nose that's where your arch is, and the corner of the eye to the corner of your nose, that's where your third point would be. Simple as that. You don't get stressed out that you need to know further brow mapping. Only if a client comes to you with barely their brows because they don't have any brows, it's mostly skin. Maybe they had a condition, maybe they did chemotherapy and so forth. Then you have to brow map more extensively with a caliber and you'll have more lines because you got to make it symmetrical, extremely symmetrical, right? Here with these 3 points, we're able to still make it symmetrical. Okay, so we're going to start off with the first step. Remember, we said it's a 3-step. The primer, the step number 1, it is optional if you don't need to do any skin staining. Now with her, she has a little bit some lighter portions. So I did do the primer. Some people might freak out like, no, she has full brows. Don't do the primer. I did it because I wanted to show you guys that you can still make it soft looking. Now with the primer, because I still have to do an ombre look on her. So I need a little bit of that primer. So when you're applying the primer, you're going to be very generous. You're going to go against the hair growth too, and you're going to see the product on there, the shine, because they're all gels, clear gels. So please be generous with it. If you're not generous with the primer, your skin staining will be effective. Also, if you were generous with the primer, if say, for example, at the end, you removed the brow and some areas didn't take well, you can go back and repeat step 2 and 3 only, not 1, 2, 3, 2 and 3 only because you were generous with the primer. Okay. Where did you get the brushes for the brow tinting? Those are our Browista toolkits. Those are the ones with the silicone spoolie. They are amazing. So please order them. Browista toolkits. So your distributors will have them. Okay. Oh shoot! I just did something to the video. I'm just trying to see your questions. Waxing is at the end. Nope. Waxing is completely at the end just before you put the styling gel, the aftercare. You don't want to cause any irritation. What do you use to do the mapping? It's the white pencil that comes with the Intense Browns kit, or you can buy it separately. And it glides so effortlessly and it's very pigmented. There's a lot of brow mapping pencils I've tried that's like they snug onto the skin and your brow mapping is not smooth. Okay. Can you use the oxidative colors with the lamination? Nope, you can. You can use the oxidative colors. You condense the time to under 3 minutes because it's going to accept the oxidative tints right away. And the main thing that we get is people complaining that it's too dark. Okay. So yeah, no worries, no worries. So let's just go back. I don't know what happened to my PowerPoint. Oops. Sorry, let me share again. It went really small. There we go. Yes, it's safe for pregnant people, safe for cancer patients, safe for pregnant people for because it's plant-based, but still you have to do a patch test, right? Because people are even allergic to just water. So still do a patch test of all 3 steps on the one section. So you put it, let it dry for 4 minutes, put the second one, let it dry for 2, like you're going to follow that steps on top of each other so that you can see what if all 3 steps act irritated. If you want, you could also do it separately, but each step is helping the next step to happen. So that's why you pile it on, but still do a patch test. Okay, so after 4 minutes of the primer, I remove it dry, 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 dry. But I don't know if you saw with the primer, and you'll see it with the step 2, which is the color gel. And I use the ash brown on her, the lightest one, because she has a nice full brow and it's only 2 minutes. But when I apply the gels, I switch to my spoolie and then I brush it through with my spoolie. If you have the habit of going brush, spoolie, your application will be nice and smooth and your skin staining won't be patchy. Okay. Step number 2 was 2 minutes. So they're half of each other, 4, 2, and 1. Dry, dry, dry Q-tip. Try to go against the hair too. Lift it up a little bit just to get underneath there. Then I like to brush it through with the dental stick. Then I dry it because I don't want to wait 4 minutes. I have the lash fan. And then after I dry it, this is the final step. So it went really quick in this video. I'm going to pause for a second. I can see the video, but I cannot see or hear you. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know, Penny. Can everybody else see and hear me? Oh, sorry, Penny. Not sure why. Sorry, everybody else can hear me. I'm not quite sure. It might be on her end, but I just messaged. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So let me just reshare again. Sorry, guys. Okay. So I was going to say is you see how instantly it starts to darken. Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Reboot if you have to come back in. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So first tip. As you apply it right away to the part that had the first 2 steps, as soon as you touch it, it gets dark very fast. Don't panic. After a minute, it doesn't keep getting dark. It stops. So don't panic, right? You have to rush to the next brow. But what you have to do is every time you got to go back into your bowl to grab fresh new activator, you have to clean your brush, whether on your glove, whether on a cotton round or a tissue, you have to clean it. Because if you take that part that's dark on your brush and you go back and you grab the fresh activator, you're activating that. And remember, it's only activated for 1 minute. So I get calls from people and they say, Christy, my one brow was nice and vibrant, the color. The other brow was lighter. Well, that's because it activated in 30 seconds and it didn't make it dark enough because you put your touched part that activated back into your fresh bowl. So always, always, always clean it before you go back in. Second thing too is as you're brushing it on, don't go into the brow and then stop. Keep moving your brush because everywhere you stop, you create these solid points. So that's why when you see me bring the brush in, I'm brushing continuously. Otherwise, you'll have like a little leopard type of brow. Hey, that could be a trend that you can start, but not quite sure a lot of clients want that look unless they're going on the runway. Or Halloween. So just be very mindful for that. Okay. So as you see me doing it, I'm moving, 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 moving. And I switch it to the spoolie part. See? So I spread it nice through. I don't brush hard though. As you saw at the beginning of her brow, I'm just going to rewind a little bit. It didn't show the technique here, but basically what I do, you see my spoolie, I grab the wet part of the rest of the brow and I buff it on the beginning of the brow. I do not use the end of the brush. I use the spoolie part, because if I use the brush end, it's going to be solid to look. It's going to stain the skin. When I do an ombre, we don't want to stain the skin. We want to buff it a little bit. We want to make it powdery looking. So your spoolie becomes your best friend to do that. Okay. So they kind of cut out the video to see that part, but basically you just brush you with the spoolie on the beginning of the brow as you grab some wet activator. So now I'm removing it with water. Can you see how subtle her brow still looks? Because I utilized that technique with the spoolie. Now, if you have to clean, you saw the little tint remover come in. The biggest mistake that people do is they use this to clean the brows. Please do not do that, or else you are going to remove the skin staining. It's a color remover, not a cleanup, not to clean the brows after you're done the service. So a lot of people, they were wiping the brow with this and they became patchy. I use it to crisp the ends, and anywhere that maybe I had a hiccup with my hand and they were staining, I didn't want to. But otherwise, look how clean I kept her brow with the brow mapping. Okay. Then you do your little shaping afterwards. So I had waxed her. And then after the waxing, you put the styling gel, condition, hydrate, seal in the service. And then voila. Okay. So I didn't spike them up. I still kept them rounded. If she wanted them spiked up more, I would trim them more. But she loved the look how it was like this. Okay. What did you guys feel of the video? Did it kind of help you see that you can create looks? You can create the look to be soft. Did you, yeah, very helpful. Okay. Because that's the biggest thing that people are freaking out about, that they can't make it softer for to accommodate all their clientele. You can. Okay. Okay, let me just see some questions. Yes, mostly for it not to be patchy. Yes, and you saw I wasn't patchy with my client. You have to make sure you keep those tips, right? Do not use your spoolie, all 3 steps. Brush it through the spoolie, but nice soft strokes, not hard strokes. Be generous with the activator, with the primer. And with the activator, go brush, spoolie, so it spreads through and doesn't create patchiness. Now, when you're cleaning it off, don't sit and scrub there. Get a little bit of wet water, not too much, and buff it like this. Okay. So those are also are really going to help. Let's see. Anybody else said something? How can I get this video to watch later? It's going to go, you're going to get a recording after in a thank you email, but it's also going to go on our website that stays up there. Okay. Do you ever apply from front versus behind the client? I like to start from the tail end because most of my clients do not like the beginning of the brow to be so aggressive. So I start from the tail end and I do the ombre at the beginning. If you start from the beginning, you're going to have to do the ombre look. It's hard to get your spoolie wet. So your spoolie, you grab it from the wet that you already have. But hey, we are artists. You can do it how you feel you wish, but that your client leaves happy. Okay. The webinar is up, but if there's any questions, I can answer it. But I see everybody thought the video was really helpful. Step 3 includes shaping with waxing. Then yes. So after you finish the last step, which is the activator, you clean the brow. Then you shape the brow with whatever method that you use for hair removal. And then you put the styling gel on. Okay. And then you tell them all their aftercare, which means no water. Like when we say no water, like in the shower, don't sit there for a prolonged time in the shower. But what I have created, so these are the aftercare packages that I'm talking about that I give to my clients. Here are our wonderful, and these ones I just printed them, right? On our website, that I'm going to upload is going to be a sheet. You got to take it to Staples to make it pretty. Now, this one says, no water or steam, don't touch your eyebrows, no makeup, avoid exfoliation around your brows for 3 days, sleep on your back. That's for your brow lamination. So there's all these instructions on there that you can provide to your client to assist you, to assist them to have the results stay as long as they could. But what I discovered, I also give them a spoolie for their new brows. Once again, all of this is on Amazon. I got these little cute test tubes. This one has lashes on them. I got these little test tubies with the brush in it, and they can brush every morning their brows back into place. Because when I do a brow lamination, I'm a face planker. I dig my face into my pillow. So I need to brush them back into shape when I get up in the morning, and they go back into the shape that I laminated them. This thing is what I discovered is the visors that Lash Extension is now used for their clients, because people don't understand that you should not be around water, humidity, and all that stuff, because it can lessen your lift. It can make your lash extensions, the glue not set properly and the humidity make them fall. So you give this to your client and they put it, if they really had to take a shower that night, they put this visor on, they stick it on, and the water goes away. So I found this is really helpful to put it for all these brow and lash services by RefectoCil. So that the client really need to take a shower. First, I tell them don't make the water too hot because the humidity affects too, and put that on your forehead so the water doesn't rest, the pressure doesn't lessen the lash lift and the brow lamination. Okay, there's some questions. So stand in front of client. Sorry, Leah, I didn't understand your question. Stand in front of client. Client has reddish brow hairs, but brows are dark. How can I get her brows to be reddish brown with RefectoCil tint? So for the reddish brow, you cannot use the intense browns. You won't get that reddish. You'd have to use the oxidative. You can either use the chestnut and mix it with your browns, or you can take the red and mix it with your browns. But be very mindful with the red and use a pea size amount, because her brows can turn really red if she doesn't need them to be red. So you take a pin size amount and mix it with any of your browns to warm it down. And the red usually takes a little bit longer to process, like up to 10 minutes. So you have to monitor the brow, take it off halfway time, put it back on just to see that it's developing okay. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you so much. For hairs not to look shorter than others, better to trim at the beginning. I don't trim at the beginning, but because sometimes some hairs don't relax evenly, and then you might have trimmed so much that you see this indentation. So I don't. I trim after I'm done relaxing step 1. Okay. I usually trim at the end, but if you want to trim after the step number 1, okay. You don't want to give your client a surprise brow. If you aren't tinting after the lamination, do you remove with water? Very little bit of water. I clean the brow, or with the eye makeup remover, I clean it, I dry it, and if they want to put a little bit of a pencil, because we have a wonderful makeup line, a little bit of pencil to give it some color. Otherwise, you put the styling gel and they're ready to go. Okay. Oh, sitting in front or behind when you're doing the service. Thanks, Chanel. In this video, I did a bird's eye view. Even on a chair of a microblading chair, when it reclines back, you're behind them, but you can stand in front of them and do it as well. It's whatever your comfort level is. And then you move aside if your client wants to look into the mirror. When you look at the client from the front, obviously you get that symmetrical view. So it could be better, and they're sitting in a chair. So that's up to you. Yes. I have a lot of clients who have lost hair, and I have to do tons of brow mapping, and many times the dye doesn't stain well at the end. Penny, was that our product, or was it a henna type? I have found with people who have done my webinar told me that the henna doesn't stain that well. It doesn't last that long. So I would suggest try with our intense browns and see with the proper aftercare that you're going to instruct your client, see how long it can stay for them. Okay. Even if they can get 5 days out of it, it's better than none, right? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kieran. Thank you. I'm glad you loved the presentation. I thought the video was so much better. You can see it so clearly. We did a really good job putting this video together. So I'm glad it was helpful. Step 1 is primer. Step 2 is the ash gel. Step 3 is the activator. Which step to apply tint? The activator is bringing out the tint. So step 1 is a primer to prepare the skin for staining. Step 2 is the color gel. So it's the ash, but they're still clear. That's why you have to brow map. And step 3 is the activator that's going to bring the color out, and that's staining. Okay, so the last step is what brings the color. Thank you for sharing this information. Great presentation. Thank you so much, Brenda. Thank you, Penny. Yes to our products. Thank you. Chelsea, can you remind us again, best timing for relaxing the coarse bent hairs for male clients? Usually male clients, the 8 and 5, it's okay, because I'm not there to give them a lamination brow look. I'm there to keep it still masculine, but just to relax that kink of the hair. So the max I've left it on somebody who had that kink in their hair was 8 and 5 minutes. If you feel it needs more, you can go 10 and 7. But the thing is, we don't want to relax too much the hair. We don't want to make them look too longer, because some males might want it to look still masculine looking. Okay. Having issues tinting wild gray hairs. Any suggestions? So your gray hairs will be covered with the intense browns because it's topical, but with the oxidative tint, you have to pre-soften them with the bleaching paste. So our blonde brow is our bleaching paste, and you mix that with the oxidant cream only, and you pre-soften for about 2 to 4 minutes, so that the hair will become now accessible to the color, to the even tone, even covering of the color onto the gray hairs and the non-gray hairs. Okay. Tint remover is used to remove from the skin. Exactly. But even in your brow, say for example, you weren't moving your brush like I said to do, and you stopped it and then you started and you got these bald patches, or somebody's skin was really dry, I do suggest to exfoliate in your prep if you have a client that has very, very dry skin, and then clean it with the makeup remover, because when the skin flakes off, it becomes patchy, right? So, oh, I just forgot your question. Oh yeah, don't use a tint remover if you have to soften those block parts. And I take a Q-tip. I don't take a cotton round. I take a Q-tip and I soften just the areas that I see that are stronger. Okay. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Penny. Thank you. This has been really helpful. I'm glad, everybody. I stayed a little bit extra to troubleshoot for you guys. It's a little bit, we're 11 minutes over time. I thought I was good this time. I made it in an hour, but I'm always here to help with answering questions. Thank you. Thank you so much. Somebody, where can I buy the complete tint kit? So Jennifer, if you go onto our website under Intense Browns and click where to buy, put where you're located, and it's going to show the people that are close to you. And if you have issues, you can email us or get me on Instagram. Okay. Thank you, everybody. It was pleasant to have you. We literally had almost about 150 people on here. So thank you so much for your patience with everything. And I appreciate it. Let's keep together and let's see your beautiful work. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.